is Mac. It's a MacBook?
Yeah.
Yep, that's true. Is this easy? And how come so many Americans are having such a difficult time?
Is that a rhetorical question, or you want us to answer?
It's your class too. You paid a lot more to be here than I did. My wife gets all the money, but still, I like being here because I love asking questions.
Wouldn't it be because there's a debate on what constitutes as true or not?
Wouldn't Plato argue that it's about the perspective of the person that is observing them?
Would Plato have said that? I don't know if he would say it's dependent on the perspective of the person. For Plato, there would be a true situation. Might not call it a statement. I'm not sure if he would. I suspect, and this is just another one of those things you can't write on your graduate record examination, that Aristotle invented truth in his Organon. It's called the Organon. It means tool, and there's actually a collection of several different books that are all part of this, where he gives you grammar. Talks about the parts of speech, nouns and things like that, that you probably learned if you had grammar, right? Nouns, predicates, and so on. And so he gives us these 4 forms of statements that he says all true or false statements have to have one of these 4 forms. So when you said your MacBook is in front of you, right? That would be, how would I put that? Every individual that is you is in the set of things that has a MacBook in front of them. I have to make it fit this, right? So you're in this set, the subject set, and the situation that you're describing is in the predicate set, right? The pen is in my pocket. Again, for everything that's me, it was in the set of things that had a pen, that pen, in my pocket, right? So that it's not like only sentences like all horses are animals, which you can see that, all horses, the sets of things that are horses are also animals, right? You can see that. The universal negative, no dogs or cats. By the way, you can flip it, no cats or dogs. They're equivalent. Notice you can't switch these and say they're equivalent, but you can with these and you can with these. Some dogs are Rottweilers. Some Rottweilers are dogs. Sounds funny, but it's true. Okay? So these are the particular affirmative. These are the universal. Universal, you're talking about the whole set. Everything that's in the set of animals is also in the set of living creatures. Everything that's a horse is in a set of animals. Everything that's a mare is in the set of things that are horses. And what we're seeing by the way we're doing this is what Aristotle describes as categorical reasoning. So basically, saying something that's true is by saying something that is that way, and saying that something is not when it isn't is also true. But if you say something is the case when it's not, that's false, and so on, right? So that's pretty simple. But the thing is, it's also a grammatical issue, and we have difficulties with some of this. This is a cup. Something else I could use, right? This is a cup. And now let me ask you, I got it for free from Amazon. Nice thing. But It keeps the water nice and cold the whole time I'm in class. Best water in the world comes from that water fountain upstairs, right? Because it's filtered, but it's local, best water there is. I remember years ago coming to Anchorage, and the mayor was asking all the people that collect the cesspools to dump their product into the city system, so that it would go into the water treatment plant, because the government wasn't giving us the right amount of funding, because the water that was being treated didn't improve enough from when it went into the plant to when it came out of the plant. So we needed dirtier water going into the plant in order to earn the federal funding. Because of course, if it's coming right from the glacier and they've cleaned the silt out of it, there's nothing but pure water basically in it. And of course, I've never seen any place where people buy more bottled water from New York, which puzzles the heck out of me. But, so, is this a good cup? This is a cup, that's true. This is a good cup.
Depends on what you want out of your cup.
Well, it's actually a terrible cup. It's closed, but you see how easily it leaks. It's terrible. Well, actually, both of those are neither true nor false, because they're dependent on a perspective or a point of view or a preference, right? In other words, a scientist couldn't come down and say, this is a good cup, because I would disagree with him. And how can he prove that I'm wrong? It's terrible. It's my favorite, but you know what? No cup is perfect. Except a golf hole cup, when you get a putt. No, that's different. But so, if there's a matter of opinion, the statement can't be true or false. And by the way, lots of people say things that are matters of opinion, and then lots of people today say that they're lying because they don't have the same opinion. You're lying. Well, actually, that's kind of a mean and rotten thing to say. What really would be appropriate is to say, I disagree. I think it's this, and not, you're a liar because you're saying something that's disagreeing with my perspective on it, right? Wow. If you think about how much nicer civic discourse might be if we're, refrain from calling someone a liar and a cheat, and, well, they might be cheats. Actually, that might be easier to figure out. But first off, it has to have a sentence format. You can't say, yippee! That's an utterance, but it's neither true nor false. Questions are neither true nor false, so I can't ask you, how old are you? That's neither true nor false, right? Imperatives, go shut the door, that's neither true nor false. So it has to be a particular kind of statement. And I think in the first time I mentioned this, I mentioned it's a linguistic problem in some languages because they don't have this copula here. Is. If you don't have the copula, you can't say this set is in this set. And this set is not in this set. You're showing a relationship between these sets. If you're speaking a language where you have pictographs, can you show that kind of relationship between them? I'm very confused about that. Which means that you can only have true or false statements in a language that has the linguistic capability of doing that. And not all human languages appear to do that. So that's curious. What else? There are relationships between these four types of statements. Notice the A-E-I-O.
Is that something that's specific to Proto-Indo-European languages, more so than, I mean, I guess it obviously but
Hindi clearly has that kind of language.
Hindi is Proto-Indo-European, isn't it?
Ooh,
from Sanskrit,
yeah,
from
it
Sanskrit,
could be
which
that
is
that's
Proto-
actually the source.
Yeah, Proto-Indo-European is a.
Yeah, yeah.
Sanskrit is a Proto-Indo-European.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just curious because I don't know if that
Yeah.
is something specific.
To me, the easiest thing to say is, well, if they're using pictures to represent the concept, whereas once you hit Greek, you end up with a phonetic alphabet, and if you think about it, the alphabet, like O. I'm drawing my mouth when I say O. Yes? If I say theta, I put my tongue through the cough of the head. So I'm drawing my mouth when I'm saying theta. It's a little harder once you get to a lot of the others, but if you start thinking about the Greek alphabet, I do have a link on there to the Greek alphabet. We could look at the I think our part might look like this. So I'm like drawing a B, but it's sideways. That makes sense? I don't know. Can you do this? And imagine that what the Greek alphabet seems to have done is to gone from picturing a particular thing to picturing the sound that you make. There's arguments over this, of course. And I know when you look at pictographs in Egyptian hieroglyphics, that a particular image represents not just the bird or something, but the sound of the word that that picture represents. So that becomes a letter for them. It's just that you have to memorize all the characters and know what sound they represent. Whereas with the Greek, you can put multiple letters together and get mu, nu, nous. In other words, when we're looking at the words, we can actually sound them out, and we know what sound that is. And if you think that's kind of interesting, it could also represent abstract things like love. How do you draw love in a picture of the object when it's an abstract concept? But the sound that we use for that, I can draw in the language, right? Now, Hebrew has letters too. I don't think they're pictographic. Islamic is also. One summer I decided I was going to learn Arabic and Hebrew at the same time, and I bought the books, and I opened to page 1, and I got stuck at Aleph. Aleph is the letter A, right? And at Aleph I got stuck, because then you have to read, instead of from left to right, you have to read from right to left. And I was puzzled initially. Do you read the whole word that way? Or do you read the word like this? No, you go like this. That's a cute little phrase, by the way. From Jerusalem to the east, everything goes from left to right. And from Jerusalem to the west, I went the wrong way. Different. You look this way. Okay, let's try that again. From Jerusalem to the west, everything goes from left to right. In other words, towards Jerusalem. And from Jerusalem to the east, everything goes from right to left. Now, that's not true, because the Indian language is there, and others, but still it's interesting. A neat metaphor. So, let's talk about the relationships, though, because what Aristotle says is that an A statement, a universal affirmative statement, is the contradiction of the O statement. Some S is not P. So if I have all blondes have more fun,
Objectively.
okay? All blondes have more fun. Well, if I find one blonde that is not having more fun, that contradicts this. They both can't be true, right? And by the way, I've had some blonde students that told me this is true, so that is false. It's false that all blondes have more fun. Is it true that no blondes have more fun? No, because there are some blondes that do have more fun. It's a contradiction. Yes? By the way, keep in mind, that's a linguistic phenomenon. It might not be the case in a language that doesn't have this set of relationships. But if you've ever studied, the Zen koans and things, and you wonder when they translate into English, you think, how can they think that way? I think that's one of the reasons why. Those languages don't have the contradicting relationship. And so you can, in a sense, think contradictory things without having any problem at all. Aristotle also pointed out that the A statement and the E statement are contraries. Both of them cannot be true, but both of them can be false, as in fact they just were in this example, because it's false that all blondes have more fun, and it's false that no blondes have more fun. But the subcontraries, and what's odd is Aristotle didn't say this, but it does follow, is that both of these tend to be